It's no secret that in our world today, men are struggling, especially young men in the Western world. In many ways, we've been left behind with very little guidance, support, and community. And I believe that one of the ways that we can fix this is to resurrect an institution of the past, the Gentlemen's Club, also known as a private members club. These are exclusive places where men across all ages with shared values can come together to debate, share ideas, and just hang out with like-minded men. So in this video, I want to cover what a gentleman's club is, why these male-only spaces are so important, especially for young men in the Western world, and why we should bring them back. Hey gents, I'm Nick, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I discuss gents' style and lifestyle, so subscribe if you haven't already, because I upload weekly content. So let me paint a picture of the current landscape for men in the Western world right now, because it's not good at all. Men need help, they are struggling. Here's the truth. A lot of men feel alone right now, especially younger men. Gallup actually did a poll and found about 1 in 4 US men aged 15 to 34 felt lonely a lot, which is far higher than most peers across the West. If we look deeper, we can see why. Male friendships have thinned out. In the 1990s, virtually no men said that they had 0 close friends. Today, it's about 15%, a 5-fold jump. Fewer men report 6 or more close friends, and single men fare the worst. If you've noticed your circle shrinking as life gets busier, you're not imagining it. And that pattern isn't only American. In England, roughly a quarter of adults report feeling lonely always, often, or some of the time. And chronic loneliness remains stubbornly higher than before the pandemic. Younger adults are consistently more affected than older groups. Layer on top of that the mentorship gap. Around 40% of young people grow up without a mentor at all, and most can point to a time when they needed one but didn't have one. Fewer guided conversations means more guesswork about work, money, relationships, and how to carry yourself. This is especially true for all the boys and men that come from fatherless homes, which in the United States is about 1 in 4 men. There's also a hard edge to this story. Men make up nearly 80% of suicides in the US, with male suicide rates roughly 4 times higher than those of females. And in Canada, where I'm from, men account for about 3 times the suicide rate of women, and roughly 3/4 of deaths. If you've lost a friend or if you've struggled yourself, you know that these aren't exaggerations. So why is this the case? Well, we traded built-in community for convenience. Over the last few decades, we lost a lot of our third spaces that used to hold our social lives together, like cafes, clubs, libraries, and faith halls. People these days are also insanely busy and stressed out. For example, I know for me, I will text people and I'll either receive a response days later or never get a response at all sometimes. And these people are my friends, so I know that they're not ghosting me, but before the pandemic, that would never happen. The responses were more immediate. Our Western society is declining rapidly, and more people are having to take on more work. These reasons also contribute to why, for a lot of men, dating feels like it's impossible these days. Work has changed a lot too over the years. A lot of learning used to happen by osmosis, like watching how older men lead a meeting, give a presentation, or handle disagreement. But remote and highly digital work stripped out those interactions. And I'm not saying we should go back to being in the office 5 days a week, because I love working from home. But we do need to figure out a way to make up for that change somehow, because this is especially difficult for younger men who are just starting out. At the same time, our oldest institutions lost momentum. Civic associations and church congregations have been in drastic decline since the late 20th century, taking with it a lot of intergenerational mentorship and accountability. We have fewer rituals, fewer role models, fewer regular nights where men can show up for one another. And then there's the attention economy. Technology didn't just give us new ways to connect, it individualized our leisure. Evenings that once meant clubs, leagues, or social nights became solo scrolling or playing video games. Layer on top of all of that, the cultural shift that breeds hostility towards male-only spaces. And we're left with no places where men can connect with like-minded men, learn and practice standards, and seek out mentorship and community. We removed the rooms that taught conduct, offered counsel, and created company. And instead we replaced them with screens, convenience, and sporadic meetups. But the good news is there's something we can do to fix this. We need to bring back third spaces, and the Gentlemen's Club can help bridge this gap. So what is a gentleman's club? I know that this term is thrown around a lot to mean different things, especially in North America. I don't mean any nightlife club. I'm specifically referring to a traditional private members club that's designed for conversation, civility, and camaraderie. These are places where men hang up their coats to read, debate, play cards, enjoy a cigar, and have dinner and drinks in good company. It serves as a home away from home, and it challenges you to be a better man. And to understand why these clubs were so influential over time, let me walk you through how they came to be. Most of these clubs began in London as coffee houses where men could eat, drink, socialize, trade news, and debate ideas. But as the city grew and conversation spilled into politics, patronage, and gambling, the regulars of these coffee houses wanted something quieter and more selective. A room with rules, a membership list, and standards. So many of these houses were transformed into clubs, and a whole neighborhood, St. James's, was nicknamed Clubland. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the popularity of these clubs exploded, to the point where there were roughly 400 clubs in London, each with their own rules and rituals. Today, there are more like 40 clubs, with some of the oldest still in existence, like White's, Boodle's, Brooks, and the Reform Club. I actually made a video on the 5 most exclusive gentlemen's clubs a few months ago. It was really fun doing the research on that one, so if you're interested, I'll link it in the description below. So now you know what a gentleman's club is, let's talk about why it's the solution and how it can help men in 2025. Let's say you become a member of a gentleman's club in your city. What does that look like? Well, number one, you now have a place where you as a man can attend regularly to have companionship and camaraderie with other like-minded men. These places are not loose groups. Usually you have to apply and be selected to be a part of these clubs. And that's important because it preserves the integrity of the club, its culture, and its values. You can find a mentor or learn from other men across all ages. You could sit next to a man that's been through it all. Hired, fired, married, divorced, built, failed, and rebuilt. Valuable in-person experience coming from men that have faced it firsthand and can now guide you if you're going through something similar. These men become your team. They hold you accountable and they act as a support group. You chat about your goals and they help you achieve them by giving you advice and holding you to them. This is a place you can visit regularly so the men notice if something's off and you can confide in them. It's kind of like a brotherhood, and as loneliness amongst men skyrockets, this kind of community can help. I'll give you 2 examples from my own life that are similar communities. Number one is I go to a premium gym in Toronto and it's pretty social, and I've actually met so many people there, some of whom have now become my close friends. And it's nice because we all have the common goal to become stronger and healthier. The second example was back when I was in university, I was in a fraternity that gave me and other men a strong community with values to be a part of. We did a ton of social events, networking, and charity initiatives that were great to be a part of, and most of my friends, even to this day, are from the fraternity. A gentleman's club is kind of similar to this, but the adult version. Number 2 is that a gents club would give you that community in a place that upholds high standards. You show up respectful, dressed in elegant clothing, and not distracted by your phone. These clubs teach you as much as they are a place for you to hang out. There's lectures, books, maybe even concerts, wine tastings, or other classes designed to sharpen your wit and widen your knowledge. You could learn how to give a toast, host a guest, or write a proper note, skills that make you a gentleman and that you wouldn't have learned otherwise. It gives you purpose and a place to live as a gentleman. Perhaps there's a regular club dinner or a monthly debate or a quarterly black tie event. These give you an avenue to practice how to be a gentleman. I never wear a tux in Canada, and it's only because I have no opportunity to wear one. So if I was a part of a club where I could wear one to a regular black tie event, I would love that. The last point I'll make as to why men need gentlemen's clubs is that they can help advance your career. You can network with other men in the same industry as you to land a job or find talent for your business. And you know that the men that you're talking to are already vetted by the organization, so they have good values. You can also debate and talk about ideas to challenge yourself to become a better thinker. These clubs give back and they offer scholarships, charity dinners, and mentorship nights. They become a system for your success and in turn, for society's success. And these clubs can take different forms too. They can be expensive and exclusive, they can be more accessible and broad, or they can even be formed around a specific value or activity. The point though is having a place that's male only while calling men to be better men. The reality is that there is no one solution to the problems that most men are facing, but Resurrecting the traditional gentleman's club, where like-minded men can come together to mingle and unwind, is a step in the right direction. On this channel, I talk about gentlemen's style and lifestyle, and I share content on how to be well-mannered, well-dressed, and well-spoken. And I try to do it in a fun, personable way. So if you're interested in that, subscribe and come along for the ride. Thank you for watching.